ready for some exciting and delicious recipes for your lunch? Stay with us because we have just what you are looking for. Welcome to Let's Cook Together. We have today some delicious recipes for you, and I am Irma Murray, and I'm here with Angela Poach. How are you, Angela?
Very good, thank you.
I'm glad to have you here with us.
Glad
I know
to be
that
here.
You are a nutritionist.
Yes.
And you also have a business, right?
Yes.
Would you like to talk to us a little bit about
Sure.
that?
I have a business called Sete Publishing, and I basically publish mostly my own materials, but sometimes other people's materials. And I started with my husband and my mom and my dad, and we wanted to have a way to distribute more materials to people in healthy living and also character. So we feel that, you know, if we don't have a good attitude, we're not happy, we're not going to have that good attitude, and it's important for health and our brains.
So you are truly combining not just the good cooking, but also something that also aids in your health,
Yeah.
Mentally, emotional,
Yeah,
and
because
so that we can be living fully.
I mean, our health is a whole package. You know, it's not just about what we eat, it's how we eat, it's when we eat. It's how it looks on the plate, believe it or not, can actually increase digestion, because if it looks pretty, the mind is prepared for that food and increases the digestive juices. They secrete into the stomach. You're ready to prepare to eat the meal, and helps to digest the food. When we're stressed, things tighten up, and then digestion slows down. It can cause fermentation in the stomach and gas and all kinds of problems. So it's nice to have it to look good and also to have a good attitude, because all those things combine for good health. Walking, exercise, all is part of it, not just the food, actual
Yes, you're
nutrients.
right. And we do need to be happy and joyful, because there are so much negativity and bad things happening around us that we don't need to be dragged down by bad health also.
Right.
Well, that's wonderful. So today we are going to, or the first thing we're going to do,
We're going to make some
is
potato stew.
Potato stew, and I know that it's going to be delicious. So
Right.
how about if we read the recipe now then,
All right,
Angela?
let's do that. Our potato stew is 6 cups of water, 2 cups of tomato juice, 1/2 cup of lentils, optional, 4 medium potatoes, diced, 1 cup of diced carrots, 2 large onions, sautéed if desired, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 medium bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of sea salt or to taste, and 1 cube or 1 tablespoon of beef seasoning.
Very well.
All right.
Now, Angela, I see that you have red skin potatoes, but we can use any other kind of
You
potatoes.
can use any potato, and the only reason I chose red skin potatoes was the red skins tend to have a nicer flavor. And so I can just scrub them up and put them in. If you use russets, then typically it's nicer to peel them for the
So
flavor.
the skin is a little tougher,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
that's so nice.
I've used them. I
those.
just scrub them really hard, and then you scrub them really good and chop them up. It just saves one more step. You don't have to peel them.
Right,
It's just a little quicker.
But I think it have a little different flavor too. I love the red skin potatoes, and I like also those yellow ones. Could you use the yellow
Yes.
ones, the Yukons?
Gold.
I believe that that's how they call.
Yeah, with the Yukon Golds or with the russets, sometimes you don't want to cook them quite as long. You'll put them in near the end because they cook quickly
Very
and they'll
quick,
fall
yes.
apart and they'll go
Yeah.
mushy. The red potatoes hold their shape and their
little
firmness
more.
a little more.
Okay.
So that's another nice thing.
Yes, very good. Well, should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started. So first of all, we have 6 cups of water. You want to pass me the
And I'm
water
gonna
there?
pass the water to you.
We'll put that in our pot. We'll get our pot on our stove here.
Okay.
Turn that up on high. We'll add our 6 cups of water. Now we need lots of water.
Lots of water
To
for
stay
our
healthy.
soup. Yeah, that's true.
It helps their brain, staying hydrated, And then we have 2 cups of tomato juice. Now I'm
wonderful.
using V8, or you could use another brand, but it has all the different vegetables in there.
Okay,
So it kind of gives it more
so-
flavor than just regular tomato juice.
Than the regular tomato
Right.
juice.
So that's going to give us
that's
more
very
flavor.
true.
And we
Okay,
have
what
our,
about if you didn't have the V8?
you can use just
And
regular
also
tomato
red
juice.
tomatoes, and should you add then some of the other
Maybe some-
vegetables that this
Sure,
kind of
you
juice
could-
will have?
Puree up some celery and carrots and add a little more sodium, because they do add sodium to V8 and it gives it a little salty
Yeah.
taste.
Okay, very good. So
We'll add
we
our
have
carrots.
Carrots.
And carrots are rich in beta-carotene. Almost any orange vegetable has beta-carotene. And beta-carotene is a form of vitamin A.
Yes.
So
Precursor.
we'll have our
Okay. Now we put the
potatoes.
potatoes. Now in this case, it doesn't matter if the potatoes cook a lot, because you want them to
We're going to cook this quickly.
to disintegrate anyways, to mushed up.
Well, we want to keep them fairly firm, but the carrots will cook a little bit slower than the potatoes. Why we did them a little smaller chunks.
Okay.
So then we want to make sure when we're doing any vegetables like that, if we have the vegetable that cooks slower, a smaller size, and the vegetable that cooks quicker, a larger size, they'll cook evenly. And that works
That's a very
for
good idea.
works for soups, stews, pot pie, that kind of
Yes.
thing.
That's good to know, because sometimes you have to be slave of the cooking time of the soup when you put everything together and be, same size
Yeah,
chunks of vegetables.
You don't want to have to sit around and watch a pot of soup and come back and, oh, I got to come back in 5 minutes to put the potatoes in.
Yes.
Oh, I got to put this in now because this is going to cook too fast and that'll go mushy. So if you've got tips where you can put them
a
in
very good
all
one.
at the same time, it makes it a lot easier to cook.
Little carrots, bigger potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we
What's
add
next?
to it at
We're
this
going to add
point?
some lentils. This is half a cup of
very
canned lentils.
interesting.
Now, if you were going to use dried lentils, you would need to put that in and cook the soup a lot longer. So we're
First.
using canned lentils just to speed up cooking process. And also, we'd have to leave the potatoes out because the lentils take about 45 minutes to cook.
Right.
And then you'd put the potatoes in. So,
What about if you have some leftovers lentils?
Yeah.
You could use those.
sure, because the seasonings would just flavor
Right.
the soup because of the tomato base. Typically, when you'd season
great.
lentils with tomato type.
Yeah. Okay, so we are adding
We're going to add the lentils to our
Lentils.
soup.
to the stew. Here we
A
have
nice potato
our-
stew. Now, lentils are high in both iron as well as protein, so they're a good body and bone builder.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now
We'll add
the
our onions.
seasoning. We season right away also.
Onions make a great seasoning.
Yes.
Flavor. And onions have lots of antioxidants. Lemon juice. The lemon juice is just to give us a little bit of tang. So, just kind of makes it interesting.
Now, I noticed that we normally the cooks use a lot of garlic, and we are not using garlic.
This dish, I'm sure you could
strong.
add lots of garlic too. It's just to give it a different flavor. I mean, if you put garlic in all your dishes,
Take a little rest from the
yeah,
garlic.
you want to change.
Okay,
So I have some bay
and
leaves
bay
now.
leaves.
Now these bay leaves are small,
Yes.
and
they're
so
good.
we have 4 here
So
instead
we
of just
put
2.
a few more. I love bay leaves
And then our vegetable bouillon.
beans and the soups, and
Break that up a little bit so it goes faster.
when I cook the pasta also I like to put the bay leaves. I think it gives it
Oh, I
that.
love the smell of bay leaves
Yes,
cooking.
yes.
Just smells so good. I'll often put them in my
And
pot
the flavor
pie.
is wonderful too.
Very nice.
Okay, so
we're
now
gonna
we
let that cook until both the carrots and the potatoes are soft, and then it's done.
And then it's done. So
That's right.
about
And I
how
think-
long it's going to take? 45 minutes? You
This
said,
would
or a
actually
little
probably
more?
would take about 20 minutes or so.
About 20 minutes. Okay, well, great. So we have our
Yeah.
potato stew. Now, what's our next recipe? Unless you want to tell us something else.
Sure. I was just going to mention you could put this in a thermos and take it on lunch. So you could have this
Yes.
at home at lunch, or you could take it in a thermos at lunch
Yes.
and have it with a bun, and it'll stay hot in the thermos. What you do is get your thermos out, boil some water, put it in your thermos, shake it up, let it sit in the middle, and that will heat the thermos up. So that when you go to
And
put
then
this,
you-
pour out the water, put your soup in, and that way your soup will stay hot longer. And we've had our thermoses stay hot 6-7 hours. So it's really
Very
nice
good
for
tip.
cold weather, like when, you know,
Right.
want to go skiing or something.
Yes,
We live in Canada, so we
absolutely.
go cross-country skiing.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our weather here is starting to get a little cooler, and you feel like eating hot.
Warmer foods.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very
you can do
good.
that with any soup, of course. All right.
Okay.
So now we can go on to our next recipe.
Yes.
All right. Our next recipe is Mariner's spread. And for that, you'll need 2 cups of canned chickpeas, 1/2 cup of mayo, 2 to 3 tablespoons of sweet relish, 1/4 cup of green onions chopped, 1/2 teaspoon of dulse or kelp, 1 teaspoon of kelp or a dash of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon fresh or 1/2 teaspoon of dried lemon thyme, which is optional.
Okay, Angela. So now we are ready to do our spread.
Yeah, this is a marinara
How-
spread.
Yes.
We can use this in sandwiches. You can also use it as dip on cookies, that sort of thing. Or, I'm sorry, crackers. I want to put on cookies, I don't think.
Who knows? You know,
Yeah,
different
maybe my
things.
son. So this, I call it Mariner's spread. It's sort of like a mock tuna salad, just so our viewers have an understanding
Okay.
of why I called it Mariner's spread out on the sea.
Okay, very
And this
good.
recipe calls for garbanzos. These were canned. And this was about a 19-ounce can. So the larger can, not the small can that you just see in the
So if
grocery
you
store.
don't have much time to cook,
Yeah,
then
you
from
could
s-
you
know,
could
from
soak these.
dry. This is just as good.
Right, and it's much faster with the can. You could cook them up and use it in this recipe.
Right.
These have been rinsed and dry and drained so that they're fairly dry. So we're going to put those in our food processor. We're going to go ahead and process these up just a little bit, just to make a consistency for spread.
Okay, I think we need to turn this a little more.
There we go.
you go.
So that's it.
Okay, very
Really
good.
quick. So it's sort of a chunky consistency.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, we'll just take that out so it doesn't fall in our bowl. Move that over there so they can see. Want our viewers to be able to see what we're doing. We're just going to put the chickpeas in here. Now chickpeas, of course, are called garbanzos as well.
Yes.
So that's the same legume, chickpeas, garbanzos. There's actually other names for them over in India. India is one of the
Yes.
major producers of chickpeas.
Okay.
And chickpeas are also high in protein and is like lentils. We're talking about lentils.
Yes.
Protein
Yes,
and
we did.
iron. So they're very similar. Lentils and chickpeas, both very high in protein, iron, and fiber.
Very good.
Low in
So
fat.
these are a complete protein.
Well, when we talk about
Or-
complete proteins, there is no. The only thing that's actually a complete protein other than animal products is actually potatoes. Potatoes are a
Oh,
complete
really?
protein. But we don't have to worry
Interesting.
about that as vegetarians because no vegetarian only eats beans.
One. Right.
They also eat wheat and grains and nuts, and those have the other amino acids that the beans don't have, and vice versa. The amino acids that are not in the grains are found in the legumes. So once you eat your whole meal, you have this on a piece of bread, you've got a complete protein.
No worries.
No worries.
Okay, so what's our...
Okay, we're going to add our green onions. Let's just give it some color.
Yummy. I love green onions on just about everything.
And a little mayo, whatever's your favorite mayo. And I do have a mayo recipe on my website for free if they'd like to go
Oh,
there. And you can
wonderful.
get
Wonderful.
free recipes there.
Okay.
And if our viewers would like to know what that is, that's www.healthyhomecookin.com. So that's healthyhomecookin.com. And there you can get a mayo recipe and you can get a sweet relish recipe with no vinegar, which is what we're going to add next.
Fantastic. And this is the next one.
So some sweet relish.
Relish. Okay.
And these are our seasonings. So in here we have kelp and dulse. And those might be new ingredients for our viewers. But they're seaweed, vegetables, and they're salty. And they're
So-
kind of that sea, got that sea flavor, and so
Yeah.
that
So there's
helps
That's where the name comes from, marinara.
the marinara spread. That's right. It gives it more of
Wonderful.
the tuna taste.
Yes.
And then I have in there lemon thyme, which I grow in my garden.
Oh,
So I don't know if
love
you can
that.
find lemon thyme in your store, but it's very easy to grow. And
Yes.
I encourage the viewers, do a little gardening. Get a pot if you live in the city. Just get a pot and put it in the shelf and have some fresh things right in your own home.
Even through the winter, if you have a nice sunny spot.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have done that.
And plants clean the air, and so if you're living in the city, you want even more plants. So you can put a whole garden in your house. All right. So we're going to put that seasonings in. We'll mix that all up.
So this is going to give us like
a spread recipe.
Seafood flavor.
Kind of a tuna flavor. Not really. And not really strong, but sort of a mild. This has been a real hit with some of the cooking schools I've done across in Montana.
No, and I'm thinking that the reason for leaving the chickpeas or the garbanzos a little more coarse is to mimic the tuna.
That's right.
You can.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly. It's just for texture. Sure. And if you don't get the chickpeas dry enough, then this will go really mushy. But it tastes the same. It's just the texture's not there.
Yeah. So it's nice and a little drier.
Yeah. So just drain them really well.
Fantastic.
So there we go.
Very good.
And
I'm sure it'll taste good.
Can see what that looks like, and that's all done. You can put that in the fridge.
Excellent. And keep it about how long would you keep this in the refrigerator?
In the refrigerator, probably 3 to 5 days.
3 to 5 days.
Yeah. Most fresh foods we really don't want to keep more than 5 days.
So what about freezing it? Can you freeze this?
You know, it might change the texture of the garbanzos. I've not ever tried it because it's so fast to make.
Okay.
That I don't need to freeze it.
Okay, very good.
Should we go to our next recipe?
Idea, yes.
All right.
Go.
Our next recipe is omega bars. And you'll need 1/2 cup of brown rice syrup or honey, 1/4 cup of canola oil, 1/2 cup of almond butter, 1/2 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of chopped walnuts, 1/2 cup of pumpkin seeds, 1/2 cup of ground flax, 1/4 cup of sesame seeds, those are optional, and 3 cups of brown rice Krispies.
Angela, we have now something very, very delicious and sweet.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, for that lunchbox. This is omega bars, and it's very high in omega-3. It has 1.8 grams of omega-3 per serving.
Wonderful.
And so if you double that, if you have 2 pieces, you have 3 grams, which is the required amount for those who need optimal brain health. So the recommended dietary amount is maybe 1 piece, and if you do 2 pieces, you're working your way toward repairing frontal lobe damage or any of those cellular structure. We need the essential fatty acids for cell building.
Oh, really? That's good to know.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grind some flax. And I just want to show how fast and easy that is. We just use a coffee grinder. It's the only thing I use the coffee grinder for just about is flax. I'll just add the flax seed. And flax seed is interesting because it will fluff up when you grind it. And fluffs up a little bit. And we can probably grind that even finer. We have some already done.
Okay, very good. Now, what about if we didn't have one of these grinders?
You can buy flaxseed already ground, but you can get these at Walmart very cheap, or any other, any department store.
Very good.
So we'll just set that aside. So
and another thing that comes to my mind is also, what's the difference between grinding fresh and buying it already ground?
Well, seeds last longer in their natural form, and so they're going to last longer. I refrigerate flax, and once you grind it, they go stale, and they actually go rancid much quicker. So if we keep them fresh and we grind them, it's a lot better. You can grind a batch up for a week or 2 at a time.
Right.
It's not going to lose.
Not too much longer.
The omega-3s are not going to evaporate. Now, some nutrients do. Some nutrients, B vitamins and things, they do start to go away once we've ground them up. But omega-3 will still be there. So you don't want to leave it too long in the fridge. But you can do up a batch. You don't have to sit there and grind every time you want ground flax. We actually keep ground flax in our house. My husband likes it on his salad.
Salad,
and
cereals.
I like it on my cereal.
Yeah.
So
yes, very good.
So we're going to put our liquid ingredients in our pot. So our first one is brown rice syrup, which is kind of a specialty item. But you can use honey or a corn syrup. The reason I don't is corn syrup is a little higher in what they call the glycemic index.
Yes.
So it makes your blood sugar go up really quickly, and you get all hyper, and then it drops. So it's nicer to have syrups that are slower in what they call glycemic index, slower into the system, and the energy lasts longer.
And that's
It's
what
also-
rice syrup comes in.
Yeah.
And it's probably not as strong as some of the honeys
Right.
also.
Brown rice syrup is not as sweet. And I actually don't like this too sweet.
Yes,
That's
I
my
don't
personal
either. Very
preference.
good.
So we're going to put that brown rice
So,
syrup in.
Brown rice.
And you can put your
syrup.
pan on medium heat. And if all your ingredients are already soft at room temperature, you actually don't even need the pan to heat them.
Oh.
But the reason we have the pan is if you take your peanut butter, your almond butter, like you store it in the fridge,
Yes.
which I do, it'll be quite stiff.
Yes.
So we want to heat
So
that.
not so hard to mix. Makes it hard to mix.
Yeah, it makes it hard to mix. We want to heat it just a little bit just to make it
Okay,
easy to
here
mix.
I'll give you.
So that's our almond butter. And the reason we're using almond butter is it's rich in tryptophan and also the omega-3. That's where we're getting our omega-3 from in this recipe. A little peanut butter. You could, again, use just almond butter. I find almond butter is quite expensive, and so I add the peanut butter just
Yes,
to
it
keep
can
this
be.
a little more economical. But if you want to use the almond butter, if you make your own homemade almond butter, go ahead and make the whole thing with almond butter. And our walnut. So we're just going to stir up
You may need
these wet ingredients.
it
You wanna-
first, okay.
all right.
Do you need this one?
This one's great. I think what we'll do is we'll add
Very
the
good.
canola oil. And I have chosen canola oil because this is an omega-3 bar. And it won't have the amount of omega-3 in it that this has if you don't use canola. If you use soy or if you use olive oil, you're not going to have the omega-3. Olive oil is rich in omega-6, but it's very low in omega-3. Canola oil is the one that's high.
That's the highest.
Yeah.
Very
Or
good.
flax oil. But
Flax
flax oil is
oil.
quite a strong flavor, and so you may not, if you're used to it, if you're using flax oil, by all means you can use flax oil. But
Yes,
those
it
of you
is
who
a
are
little
not used to
strong.
it, you may
Yes.
not want to start out with that.
Okay.
All right, so we're just going to mix up our wet ingredients, and you can take that off the heat.
It already looks like a little bit like candy.
Yeah, bars. All right, so then we're going to add our walnuts.
Very good.
And you can add English walnuts or black walnuts. Both are high in omega-3. One is
Now
higher than the other. This is pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seeds are great for zinc. Which
And you
is,
don't need to grind those.
nope, just leave them whole and
For
add our
texture.
flaxseed for those omega-3s. And sesame seeds have calcium. So 4 tablespoons of sesame seeds has 1 serving of calcium. We're putting 2 tablespoons
One
in here right
serving.
now.
So you got 2.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And these are brown Rice Krispies. If you can't find brown Rice Krispies because they are a specialty item, you can use regular Rice Krispies. We're just going to mix that all up. Just like that.
That looks very yummy. Very yummy.
All right. We get that really thoroughly mixed. And if you think,
Okay.
if yours is looking, you might want to put a little less or more of the Rice Krispie squares just so it looks like a nice consistency like this. I find that some almond butters are drier and some peanut butters are drier than others, so you may want to have a little less Rice Krispies or a little more. In this case, we had it looked out just right, hey?
Yes, it
Yeah,
looks
maybe
really
a little more
good.
Rice Krispies, but it
Yeah.
looks pretty good. So you
Okay.
would just press this into a 9x9 pan and refrigerate it, and you're done.
Oh, refrigerator. Oh,
And you're
wow, this
have
is really easy.
Yeah.
This is
All done.
great. Another great recipe for all the people that want to eat something sweet and they don't have much time to prepare a batch of cookies or cakes or whatever. And for the children, they love to mix all that stuff.
And that omega-3 has been really shown to help with children
And
and
then
growth.
healthy. This was wonderful, Angela. Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed it.
We are going to take a small break, and we will be back with the finished product, so please don't go away.
We hope you've enjoyed cooking with Angela. Now let's take a moment to review her lunch recipes. For the potato stew, you will need 6 cups of water, 2 cups tomato juice, 1/2 cup lentils optional, 4 medium potatoes diced, 1 cup carrots diced, 2 large onions sautéed if desired, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 2 medium bay leaves, 1 teaspoon sea salt or to taste, and 1 cube of beef seasoning. For the marinara spread, you will need 2 cups of chickpeas, 1/2 cup mayo, 2 to 3 tablespoons sweet relish, 1/4 cup green onions chopped, 1/2 teaspoon dulse, 1 teaspoon kelp, 1/4 teaspoon sea salt, 1 teaspoon fresh or 1/2 teaspoon dried lemon thyme. For the omega bars you will need 1/2 cup brown rice syrup, 1/4 cup canola oil, 1/2 cup almond butter, 1/2 cup peanut butter, 1 cup chopped walnuts, 1/2 cup pumpkin seeds, 1/2 cup ground flax, 1/4 cup sesame seeds, and 3 cups of brown Rice Krispies. If you would like information on how to contact Angela, or if you would like to receive today's recipes, please write to 3ABM, Post Office Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois, 62896, or call 1-800-752-3226. That number again is 1-800-752-3226. Now, let's take a look at our finished recipes with Angela.
Angela, this looks just delicious. It smells delicious, looks wonderful. Tell us about what you've done today.
Well, today, of course, we made our potato stew, which we can use in our thermos for our lunches. On the go, we have our marinara spread, which you can use with crackers as dip, or put it on bread with a little bit of lettuce or sprouts for a sandwich. And then, of course, we ended with our omega-3 bars, or omega bars, great in the lunch.
Well, everything looks delicious. What else do you want to tell us about? Those bars are really nutritious, aren't they?
Yes, and we have created some nutritional counseling sheets at Sete Publishing. I've put together several nutritional sheets that our viewers can see and get information on.
Wonderful. That's really great.
A lot.
I know you also have some cookbooks.
I have 7 cookbooks, and you can get
Fantastic.
you can get the cookbooks or the nutritional sheets at our website at www.settepublishing.com. That's www.settepublishing.com. And there they can get the books and nutritional sheets and other books on nutrition. We carry some of Dr. Nedley's for the brain and those other, so on.
Wonderful. So you not only can go and get information, but you can also buy these cookbooks.
Yes.
Right? Very good. Thank you so much for being with us today, Angela.
I'm very glad to be here. It was a lot of fun. Really
Yes.
enjoyed it.
Well, I sure hope that you will come back with us.
Yes, I'd love to.
Thank you so much for being with us again in this program. May God bless you, and may you put in practice all these recipes.